Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We're just discussing wardrobe with Bob Rennie because I would think you two were separated at birth with your sweater collection.
Absolutely. I'm always quite envious of his sweaters. Mr. Bob Rennie joining us, Director of Rennie Marketing Systems. And your original clothing choice today was Nick's, right?
Jessica wouldn't let me wear a bright sweater.
I love your sweaters. It's nerd chic.
She said the other one was just trying too hard. So.
It was too much. Okay, Bob, I think a fairly simple question would be, how was your weekend? How did it go this weekend?
You know, we released the Olympic Village, changed the name of it from, here, I'll give you one of them. We changed the village from Millennium Water to the village on Falls Creek. So this is what we handed out when we went into the media scrum, which you weren't there because we knew we were going to be here today.
So this is exciting stuff. Okay, we've got the name on the front. I'm just going to flip it over because all over the news are the price reductions and around 30% or so, I guess.
Yeah, we released the village on May the 15th and it didn't work. And you know, when the developer was running it, he had different objectives and he put all 480 on at once. Yeah. And aside from pricing, everybody just saw no sense of urgency.
Yeah, right.
So what we've known is, you know, there's no proximity problem and there was no product problem, but there was a pricing problem. So now that the city is the lender, has put in a receiver, it's like there's parental supervision and we're able to just do it calmly. And we brought 230 units on last Thursday. And tomorrow's the big release. We're going to tell everybody how many sold.
Now, can I just do a demo here? Because this is a scratch and see. So you can. So the old price, say on this one here, which is a 2-bedroom and family and flex space, 2.475 was what it was.
Oh, so good scratching, Forbes.
The new price.
This is participating with direct mail.
Yeah, I like that.
1.3. It's like you won something.
Congratulations!
There you go.
I love it. So that's a huge price difference.
For only 1.3 million.
How careful do you have to be? I mean, especially in Vancouver, where you know there's quite a bit of density downtown. How careful do you have to be in terms of releasing an amount and making sure that?
Well, there was no sense of order when we brought on 480, so everybody stepped to the sidelines. And everybody told us the prices were too high. So this time, you know, my joke is you can only open a third time once. Right. And so we had to come up, and so we put out last week that I promised the receiver we'd sell 60 in 60 days. We're a real estate town, so everybody follows this real estate.
Right, so 60 in 60 days was your promise. How did the sales go over the weekend?
Can you say? You can't say.
Phenomenal. So tomorrow's the big press release, but I just think it's unfair to sit here and not say a number. So I've surpassed my 60 in 60 days already.
In how many hours? Like 48 hours? Has it been?
No, well, selling started Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so the 3 days. So if I told you, if you used a number of 80, you would be pessimistic. So that's as far as I can go.
So we'll get the real number in a press release tomorrow.
And I feel awkward, but it's just, we have to release it all.
You have to wait, and I understand that. How does this affect the city? Because everyone's hearing all this stuff, and I think they can get confused with the receivership and the city, and of course, therefore, the citizens being sort of on the hook.
It's all this inside baseball, all these terms. But if you look at the city is the lender, they're the bank, and they owned the land at one time, but the developer stepped in, and now a receiver has taken over the management of it. Okay. So the taxpayer wants to see this work because there's a $740 million loan outstanding.
$740 million.
$740 million. Wow. So if we do this orderly and populate the village so that London Drugs opens, food store comes in, and then you'll see values stabilize and start to increase.
So what happens to the people? I mean, obviously people bought into the village earlier. Is it just buyer beware in that circumstance? Like what happens?
The people that bought the first 265 sales, the majority of was sold in 07, and then some of them a few were sold after May the 15th. It is investing. If they make money, they're not giving it away to the taxpayer. And if they lose money, the taxpayer can't compensate them. But the best thing is to stabilize it. So if we can, once we release the sales, I think everybody who started to just come down and look for blood in the streets got some good buys, and now they see that just they'll buy into momentum and it's been accepted.
So how involved are you in sort of that mix as well of it becoming a neighborhood, the commercial real estate end of it, and getting other tenants in there that'll add to the neighborhood.
You know, if we were on if this show was Thursday, I think we'd be able to announce the coffee shop deli that's going in.
Right.
We're all on the edge of our seat because we have to get it animated. Because there was a financing cloud. I think we removed that with certainty of the city and the receiver, but there's a cloud over it of a ghost town. Everybody gets mad when I use the word, but it's a ghost town.
No, I've been down there, and it is sad because it's such a beautiful area, such beautiful places, and there's nobody there.
Yeah, so we look at we've been hired to sell real estate, and we've been hired to remove that ghost town cloud. So it's a Rubik's Cube. And when we came out the other day, I held a Rubik's Cube, and I said, I can do a Rubik's Cube in less than a minute. On one side, but you got to look at all the sides and make sure that it all talks to each other. And I'm caught off guard. I'm a little overwhelmed at the response. I knew I insured it with the pricing, and I knew that it would work. But there's been such pent-up demand on the sidelines.
Now, why did you take this project on, Bob? Because it's no secret in the past little while people have been so game on criticizing you and saying it's never going to happen. He's crazy.
Yeah, you know, it was when we took on Woodwards. Everybody said it would ruin my career. But I think the challenge is what we really want to live through. But if you just take away all the bullshit, it's real estate on the water in Vancouver where we're not making much of it. It's really not that difficult a job. The difficulty is to work through all the armchair management of everybody has a reason why it wouldn't work. And it's working now.
Well, and that must be an interesting aspect of your job anyway, is to either change perception or create a perception of what it is that you're trying to sell. There's a real intellectual side of it.
Perception becomes reality.
And that's been especially true with this. I mean, people's perception was, I think, probably quite a bit off.
It had that Olympic word, and as soon as you put the Olympic word on it, it's trouble because half the world is against you and half is for you. But I looked at it, I was going into a football game where half the stadium's one team and half's the other. But I put on a Teflon suit until I could get here, cardigan, until I could say that it worked. And now that it's worked, it's getting a lot easier to sit here. Because if I had sat here and go, I think we sold 5 on the weekend. I think
isn't this the kind of thing that keeps you motivated, though? I mean, in your business, because obviously you've achieved quite a bit. You've created, a new way of sort of doing your business over the years. But is this the kind of stuff that really keeps you motivated and your team motivated?
I'm a masochist. It does because I always tell my kids that money's not the measurement. It's the taxpayer is my client here, so my whole brand is at stake. How are we going to be looked at? So if I had stepped out of the race, and we really debated whether we should stay, but then it's he stays for good times. And so we have to stay all the way through.
So Bob, run us through really quickly what people can expect as far as announcement goes in the next little while. What's going to be happening?
So it's not known yet, but at 1 o'clock today, we're going to do a press release to come down tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and we're going to announce how many we've sold. And then what I would like to do is accelerate some of the phasing that we're going to bring on next year because it is being well received.
So you just sort of portion it out as you go. Can we
keep
talk really quickly about your wardrobe as well? Because we love your sweaters, but you have a new plan.
Are you really moving into suits? Are you making the change?
No, we were talking before that my goal is to switch to suits, but to get 7 suits identical and wear the same suit every day for 5 years. My joke with the officers, I'm going to put toothpaste on the corner of each one, and they'll go, it's the same goddamn suit.
Just with a little
this is like a performance art project. We'll talk to you in 5 years and see how it goes.
I get up really early and I don't want to put any effort into getting dressed, which is why I wear sweaters and runners. But I thought if we switch to a suit, then I don't have to think about it at all.
You've got it.
And same shirt every day.
I love this. Well, we look forward to finding out what's next for this. And if people want to go down there, open houses are running. And
we're open daily now from 12 to 5. It's been overwhelming. We've had well over 1,800 people down on the weekend.
Yeah. Well, and if people have a perception of what that area is and what it is, and they haven't walked through there, they're not doing it justice. They need to go down there and see it for themselves.
We did 563 suites right behind it at Wall Center, Falls Creek, and Peter Wall was in conversation yesterday going that he proved out the area for us last year, and people were going, does anybody want to live there? Well, it's working. The Playhouse Theater is going in, it's all working.
Well, thank you so much, Bob. Have a great week, and we'll watch out for the news tomorrow. We're going to take a quick break.